Welcome, friends. So, there's this thing that can happen where we're avoiding somebody. Maybe I'm not talking about we have a friend and now they've gotten interested in topics we're just not interested in. So, we don't hang out as much. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where, there's somebody who's done something or said something that gets under our skin and now we sort of avoid them. We maybe don't always answer their call or don't go to an event where they are. Or if we are at the same event, try to keep our distance. There's there's a discomfort. Well, I found those as opportunities to see the least identity that's actually being unearthed there. Now, usually it looks completely logical. For example, somebody keeps saying about me, oh yeah, well, you're just such a perfectionist. Oh yeah, you're always like so mired in the details, or you always, whatever they're saying about me that I disagree with. Well, we could take that as an example. There's lots of things people might do. We have a common way of interacting, and now they're doing something different, and it just gets under our skin. Now, we might interpret it as they're hurting me. They're unkind, or they're whatever it is, blaming me, or whatever it is. Blaming, that's a good one. They're blaming me. There's no blame that lands unless there's an actual doubt inside of ourselves that maybe we should be blamed. If there's no doubt, if we're 100% certain in our innocence, then somebody blaming us is just, oh yeah, they're needing a relief valve and they're sending it my way. No big deal. So whatever it is that they're sending our way, if they're in turmoil and our presence is just making them in more turmoil, there's just, we apologize, but somehow they're just still in turmoil. Okay, of course, there's no need to be causing turmoil to somebody. They clearly are just troubled by our presence. But, if they've said something in the past and I'm still feeling hurt, I'm still feeling irritated, I'm still saying, well, that wasn't true about me, then that's an ego that's been offended. What we are is clear, innocent, has no past. That's an ego. Now, once the ego is gone, then there's freedom to just come and go. We may end up finding we don't spend as much time with that person, but it's totally different because there's a love for them. There's a wanting for them to have the fullest life, and there's a cherishing of them, and there's a joy about who they are, even as we may end up spending less time with them. Even there's a joy about all our past exchanges with them because we've gleaned so much from them. But if there's an avoiding, well, for me, I've learned it's always a place where my ego got offended. And my ego is a distraction, a thought conglomeration that isn't true. And I want to have that gone. I want them to show it to me. I want to look at the offense and see, where is that? So whatever it is, I just check and see, okay, say they were blaming me, or they said I was too perfectionistic, they said whatever they said about me. Then I just stop and see, what is it in me that wants to be seen otherwise? Wants to be loved, wants to be appreciated, wants to be treated peacefully, wants the other person to be open to me. What is it that in me wants that? And then look and see what happens, if they do my protocol, they agree with my view of myself, my whole system opens and relaxes, and I like that feeling. I feel connected. And when they're doing these things, what does my system do? It contracts, it defends, it gets all ruckus inside, or it gets hardened, whatever. It may feel heat, it may feel emptiness, I may feel pressure behind my eyes, or pressure in my throat, or pressure in my heart. All of those things that I may interpret as hurt and sadness. But those are actually interpretations, I've realized. There is no such thing as a person saying something that causes me hurt and sadness. They've just had a thought that came out their mouth and disappeared. That's all it was. If I take it in, if I agree with it on some level, then I've internalized that thought, and it's me believing it that's caused all these. I mean, that's how it's turned out. Really, I just can't find any hurt that exists anymore. So I want to know, how can I experience this event with this person knowing what I actually am? So first is letting go of the identity. Oh, it's okay if somebody thinks I'm a perfectionist. It's okay if somebody thinks I'm at fault. I'm not. I'm innocent with while all those things happen. Innocence doesn't require agreement. I know this, that I am. And I'm willing to apologize, but I know at my core I'm actually innocent. Once I'm solid in that, there's this opening that can happen. And yeah, they may say something where my system starts to constrict again, the pressure may come in, but now I don't interpret it as hurt anymore. Because I've grounded in that innocence. I've grounded in my wholeness. I ground in my not needing anything from them. That love is this nature of what I am, not derived from something else. And so then whatever they say, if it causes a constriction, I don't interpret it as hurt. I don't interpret it as blame. I don't interpret it as whatever else, lies about me. I interpret it as they had a constricted energy. I heard it, and my body mirrored theirs, because they're not going to say anything like that if they're in a warm, happy, loving place, right? They're saying it from some hurt that they're having, apparent hurt. So my body is just having those sensations of sadness. They're not actually sadness. They're the sensations of hurt. So I just register, oh yeah, there's those sensations. There's the constriction, there's the pressure, there's the chaotic energy. Can I be with that? Of course. And I just let that energy do its thing, and it passes. Because I haven't labeled it and held on to it and defended against it. It's just so amazing. It's really amazing. And if I take it on, it means, oh my gosh, I had a doubt of my innocence. And I get to just look and see, oh dear, I'm actually innocent. What we are includes every kind of interchange. Sometimes I get to apologize, but I'm still innocent. So I just ground in that innocence, ground back into what I am, let the sensations do their thing without labeling them as sadness or hurt, or, just, it's so light, so free, so able to interact with anybody who's around me. I don't have to push away or run away. I can just be with them and let the system do what it does. It's so light. So it's really been a discipline, because when those things happen, it feels so real. The hurt feels so real. But I just notice it's not actual hurt. It's simply these physical sensations. And it takes a lot of attention to tease them out. Right before there's the interpretation, I just check and see, okay, what did the physical system do before I made it into a story of sadness, a story of hurt, a story of blame? What did the physical system do? And you can just check in the head, in the throat, in the gut, in the heart, what happened? And then, am I able to be with that? Absolutely. And can I know what I actually am, this innocence? Absolutely. We are innocent. We are flowing energy in an infinite give and take. Yeah, of course. We become inspired to do things that appears to be more kindly in the future. Absolutely. That doesn't mean that we're wrong. It just means we're part of this flow that seems to do things that look like growth. So I offer that lightness to you. Enjoy.